Hello again. This is a bit of a different video for me. Normally I'm doing audio stuff or I'm doing stuff on my vinyl. But a couple of weeks ago I turned on, well, I didn't even turn it on. I went to watch some stuff on this Samsung TV and noticed that there was no pilot light, no little red light down the bottom. I thought, oh my goodness, it's been unplugged or the fuse is blown. But having checked that out, there was still no red light. I did the usual things like checking the mains on the plug that goes in the back, and still nothing. So I thought, this is a little bit more serious. Now, I was becoming a bit peeved at this time because I only bought the TV in 2017. It's now only just 2020. However, I phoned Samsung and they were very, very helpful, extremely helpful in fact, but when I gave them the serial number and the model number of the TV, they said, I'm sorry, it's out of warranty. Now, my previous experience with these TVs is that they're very, very reliable. In fact, the one I'm watching now, which, because this one's not working, I bought 20 years ago. And it's still going absolutely strong. Okay, the bezel around it is a bit thick and it's not 4K and it's not smart, but it does work absolutely fine from my Virgin box. So, a bit disappointed when this one failed so quickly. And although I was trying to justify not taking out an extended warranty, in retrospect perhaps I should have done so. So I thought, well, it's a dead TV, I need to get it working, so why not have a go at finding the fault with it? So that's what this video is going to be about. So we're going to be looking at this TV. It is a Samsung 43-inch UE43 MU6100, and I'll put all that down below the video and all the details about it. But the screen is absolutely dead and there's no pilot light on it. So let's get started and try and find out what the problem is. First thing to do, obviously, is to lay the receiver, whatever one you have, on a flat surface, making sure there's no rough bits that can damage the screen on it. And the second thing that I'm going to do is just check the continuity of the mains cable. So we'll get that sorted out and to make sure that all that is working correctly. Make sure the meter's working first of all, which it isn't. Always check that. Now it is, it's working fine. So check that one. Yeah, that's okay, and the return, and that's okay. So we know that the mains cable is okay. So let's put that to one side. Next thing you have to do is to remove the back. Now, most of these sets have got numerous screws. Some of them, oh, look at the dust on that. Some of them are buried down below the actual stand. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the stand using a suitable crosshead screwdriver. And obviously a magnetic one would be better. Let's see if I've got a magnetic one. So let's try this. This is a magnetic screwdriver, which should probably be better for getting the screws out. Yes, it is. And I'm going to pop them in a bowl so they don't get lost. I'm not going to bore you with showing you how to take all these screws out, but let me just go how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, and no doubt there are screws underneath here keeping the back on. Then we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 screws. So I'll come back to you when I'm ready to remove the back. Okay, so that's all the screws removed. And now I'm going to use a small screwdriver just to make sure it's not clipped anywhere. And here it comes. And then very carefully lift the top away and put it somewhere safe. So that now exposes the inside of the television. Two boards, the main board with the processor and the logic on it, which takes all the inputs from your external devices and your antennae and broadband, and the power supply board. Now, it would indicate that the power supply board is faulty, so the first thing to do with this, and some of them have a fuse on, some of them doesn't. This one does have a fuse in place, so I'm just going to check to see whether that works okay, and just making sure the meter's working. And sadly, the fuse is intact. I say sadly because that might have been an easy fix, but of course you don't know what's blown the fuse. Now with these sets there is a very easy way to fault find on them. First of all, the power supply board feeds the backlight, which is in underneath this panel. It also feeds the logic and processor board here. If you plug in and there's nothing, the first check to make, once you've checked the fuse, is to actually unplug the logic and main board. So I'm just going to unplug that. I'll give you a bit of a better shot on that one. So the set, when it's plugged in, doesn't do anything, and be careful because you have mains voltages on this board. So I'm going to plug the thing in now and plug it into the mains, and nothing is happening. I'm now going to switch it off from the mains and unplug the main processor board and the logic board from the power supply. So that's now unplugged. I'm now going to switch the thing on again, and this time I'm going to watch for two things happening. Let me just zoom back. And I'm going to turn some lights down here, switch the thing on again, and there's two things that could happen. If the backlight comes on, then it's not a power supply fault. If the backlight doesn't come on, then it is a power supply fault. Or if the backlight comes on and flickers on and off, it again is a power supply fault. So I've disconnected the processor board here. I'm now going to turn things back on again. And as you can see, the thing is now lit up on the front. I can see the backlights, but can you see that the screen is now alight, and I can see the backlights working through here, and that would indicate that the fault is with this board here, which is the main processor board. So my next job is to try and get one of those. Right, we need to skip forward a little bit here because this in actual fact is, I know I got the same jumper on, but it's actual fact 5 days later, and I went on to various companies to try and find out who would actually be able to supply a board for this. Some of them are very expensive, and some of them are new unused boards or used boards which have been tested. And it's very important that you get the number of the board right, and I'll put all the details down below. This one was a what's the number of the board? BN94-12007Y is the number of the main board, and that is actually written on the board. I did find a supplier on eBay, and I ordered it, and I paid £30 for it. Now whether I've thrown my £30 away or whether this is actually going to sort the problem, I don't yet know. So this is now sort of a live thing, if you like, a live unpacking of my new board. It says fragile on it, as you can see, but it has arrived rather dented and battered, so I don't know what I'm going to find in here. Let's hope it's been packed properly inside. So I'm now going to undo it, I don't know where to start really. Sealed across the top. So I'm now going to unseal the board, unpack the board, and see what we've got inside. As I say, this is a long shot. Because I'm not sure whether this is actually going to sort the problem out, but we'll give it a go and see. Not wrapped in bubble wrap at all, it's wrapped in... Oh, there is bubble wrap underneath. Let's get rid of all the paper stuff. And there it is, there's the board. So let's get rid of that and have a quick check of this just to make sure that everything is going to be okay on it and it is the same board and that we haven't got our numbers all crossed and messed up. So let's do this. Always a bit excited when you're doing this. It's either going to be a total failure or a success, and you never really know what. So here's the board. And it looks so far to be identical. The mounting tabs I was a bit concerned about. But they appear to be the same, which is excellent. So there is the new board, and hopefully that is going to be do the job. All the right connections on the side, and yeah, so there it is. I'm just going to zoom in and let you have a little closer look at it. So there's a replacement main board for my Samsung TV. Now we've just got to fit it. When you're fitting one of these boards, always make sure that you photograph everything, all the connections first, so you know where everything goes. Ribbon cables. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 connections to the board. So first of all, I'm going to get myself in a comfortable position and remove these cables. Ribbon cables, when you're removing them, you must lift the little the black retainer, and then very carefully pull the cable out. Pull the cable out carefully, and then remove the other cables that are in there. Some of these are a little bit fiddly, but they will come. Well, there are all the cables removed. It's now just a question of removing the board, and in this instance I believe it simply slides and lifts away, he says. Maybe not. Yes, there it comes. So I'm now lifting the old board away and putting that to one side. I'm now going to fit the new board, which again, it's really good this, it just simply slides into place, he says, hopefully. Making sure all the cables are out of the way. That's down. Those are down. And there it is in place. Reconnect the cables. carefully. Making sure they all clip down. Push very gently until they clip in. Those are done. Ribbon cables, make sure that they go in correctly. Make sure they're very square before, and they're in fully before clipping that down. And that one. Clipping down. And lastly, this one. Make sure it's in. Reconnect the power board. And I think we're done. So that's the thing fitted again. The big test comes now is to actually switch it on and see what happens. So I've now powered it up, and the most encouraging sign is that the red indicator, the red power light, has come on, showing that the motherboard is sending the correct signal to the power board to flash everything up. And that's it. The backlights are not on, but I'm now going to turn the TV on. That red light should go out. And the backlights are up. And if I can now show you the screen on it, you'll see that it is all working. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this. I'll just lift it very gently, like this. And you can see obviously no signal, but the thing is working, which is excellent. So now it's just a job to put it all back together again, and I'm really pleased with that. So there we go. Thank you to the supplier on eBay, and you'll be pleased to know that the board is now fitted and working properly. I'm just going to turn it off again. And there it is, and the red light's on. So super job, really pleased with that. Well, that's it done and sorted. Really pleased with that. It's I didn't want to pay £400 odd for a new smart 4K TV, and I didn't really want to spend £100 repair, £150 to £200 repair fees. So by just doing those simple checks, you can actually sort it yourself. Just be aware, again, if you turn the light, if you turn it on and there's nothing, unplug the power supply cable to the main board. If the backlight comes on, then it's a fault with the processing board, this one, and if it flickers, it's a fault, or it doesn't come on, it's a fault with the power supply. So you need to replace one or the other. Mine came on, so I ordered another one of these. So all done for £30, which I'm really pleased about. Just a little bit disappointed that it failed so quickly. But the other Samsung, which is 20 years old, is now in the other room, still working fine. So I'm going to now put this all back together and get it all connected up and swap it around again, so we've got this one back in service. Thank you for watching. I have got another flat screen, a smaller one, which has failed, but that one's quite an old one, so I might be looking at that next. And who knows, I might get back into the workshop now. Now that I've got my thirst for making videos again. I did have quite a long break, but that was because there wasn't really anything to make a video about. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care. Goodbye.